Hello, it's the middle of May and I've got 7 books to talk to you about. I've read 7 so far this month. What have I read? I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from NetGalley, NetGalley arcs. One was the winner of the Rathbones Folio Prize, and then I read another one from the Carnegie Medal, the final one from the shortlist. So that was my 7 books. I started off with Falling Animals by Sheila Armstrong, and this was a NetGalley arc, and this cover is absolutely stunning on this one, and it's full of beautiful words and phrases, and a very sort of gentle book. We start off with a single man sitting on the dunes, sitting cross-legged staring out the sea, but he's dead. And the whole book are little vignettes about people who are connected with him, who might have passed him, who saw him or knew him. On the seashore, there is a decaying old ship that beached years and years ago, and there's vignettes of people who are connected with this ship. This man remains nameless, and we pick out little bits about him all through the book, and it's absolutely it's a gorgeous read. It's a mystery that you don't sort of solve, but that doesn't matter because the language is just super. Then I moved on to another NetGalley arc, which is The Miniscule Mansion of Myra Malone by Audrey Burgess. And this one, magical realism. It's a gorgeous read, absolutely. Myra's a virtual hermit. She was badly scarred when she was a child, so she stays inside. She's got this mansion, miniature mansion, not a doll's house because it doesn't have any dolls, a miniature mansion, which she spends all her time decorating and redecorating. But this mansion seems to have a mind of its own because she finds that rooms will appear and disappear. Things she's put in the rooms will appear or disappear. And her best friend encourages her to do a blog to share this mansion worldwide. And this blog is a huge success. And then she gets a letter one day from a guy called Alex who says, "This mansion is my house." Right down to the pictures that Myra has put into them, her little mansion, the same pictures are in his. And so what follows is their correspondence and working out how the two properties, the little one and the big one, are connected. Gorgeous book, full of mystery. Next one, Scary Monsters by Michelle de Kretser. This won the Rathbones Folio Prize for Fiction this year. 2 books in one almost. That's Lyle and that's Lily. Lily is an Asian immigrant living in Australia, but she is now teaching in France. And her scary monsters are racism, prejudice, sexism. Lyle's scary monsters, again, he's an immigrant. His scary monsters are again racism, but this time you've got ageism. And I found Lyle's story, which is set slightly, it's a slightly dystopian story. I found that one really, really chilling. I thought this was an excellent read. Then I moved on to one from the Carnegie Medal shortlist, and it's When Shadows Fall by Sita, Brahmachari. And this is a really emotional read. It's a very dark read. It covers mental health, grief and death, but it's also about growing up. Kai, he's around 18. He's falling a year behind his school friends because of a tragedy that at the beginning we know nothing about. His friends are collecting their A-level results, about to move off to pastures new, but he's a year behind. He won't be taking his exams until the following year. But what he's doing is he wants to write down his story because he wants to heal. He feels that by writing his story down, he will heal. And he also gets his friends, Zach and Orla, to write their perspectives of what happened as well, because they were all in it together. And it's his words and his memories, and the memories are so raw at times, even though you know that they are memories, because we meet Kai at the beginning of the book at 18. It still doesn't stop them giving you a sort of punch in the guts. It's a really powerful book, and it's an intermingling of prose and verse and stunning black and white images. Then another NetGalley, Bad Summer People by Emma Rosenblum. And this one, it is full of unlikable rich people, and it's full of bitchiness and scandal and affairs and gossip. We're at Salcombe on Fire Island, which is a place where the rich retreat to every summer into their second homes. So they all meet together every summer. They're friends, but they're friends on the surface only. Behind the back, they're bitching about the Botox, the scandals, the affairs. You've got the two queens of Salcombe. You've got Lauren with her husband Jason and Jen with her husband Sam. They're the queens. They seem to rule it. Then you've got Rachel, who's the sole singleton almost, but she's a stirrer. She likes to spread the gossip. And then you've got a handsome new tennis coach, because these women live for tennis. The annual tournament, well, it's bigger than Wimbledon as far as they're concerned. And the book opens with the body in a ditch, and then we go right back to the beginning of the summer. And then you have all these, the gossip and the scandal and the bitchiness. And all the while you sort of think, well, which one of them's the body? It's not a psychological thriller. There are twists, but it is full of scandal and gossip, and it's just, it's just wonderful. Then another one from the Carnegie Medal shortlist, and this is the eternal, the eternal return of Clara Hart by Louise Finch, and it's a time loop, but it's a time loop with something more. Spence is having a bad day. He goes to a party, and the girl that he's had a crush on for ages ends up dead. Then he wakes up, and the day repeats. And he goes to the party, and she ends up dead. And then the day repeats again. And what he does every time the time loop, he tries to save her. He tries to do something different. He tries to learn what went wrong the previous time so that he can stop her dying. And this loop, he needs to save her. But it's more than that. It's about toxic masculinity. It's about sexual assault. It's about grief. It's not a novel for a young teen. It's a novel for an older teen, because it covers some very powerful stuff in here. So it's a time loop with a difference. I really enjoyed that one. And then the final one was another NetGalley arc, and it's the new one by Isabel Allende, The Wind Knows My Name. And this is a sweeping novel about refugees, particularly the children who find themselves separated from their parents and are having to rely on strangers, and everything that goes with that, sort of the treatment that they get from strangers who don't always have their best interests at heart. You've got Samuel, who went to England on the Kindertransport, and you know his story. You've got Letitia, who fled from El Salvador, and you've got Anita, a nearly blind 7-year-old who's separated from her mother. Then you've got Selena, who's working with the displaced children, particularly Anita, and you've got Frank, who is preparing Anita's case to try and get her asylum. You've got all these people, and slowly and slowly the threads all start, you see the threads merging together to form a bigger tapestry. Deals a lot with, it brings to attention the children that are left on their own. But there is hope in here as well. And so those are my 7 books of the first half of the month. I didn't get a 5-star. No, I didn't this time. I'm finding it more and more difficult to find 5 stars, funnily enough. I'm not sure why. But my book of the first half of the month, Falling Animals, I loved the pace of that. I loved the language. I loved the imagery. And I loved the idea of all these connections to this man just sitting on the dunes and dying. So let's see what the second half of May brings. Happy reading. Take care. Bye-bye.